Hello, everyone. This is Misha Houston, and I'm back to do my review of the haves and the have nots. Tonight's episode is entitled Afraid of Flames. And I have to say, it was a pretty decent episode. It really wasn't as great as it could have been, but it certainly wasn't unentertaining and boring. So I appreciate Tyler for coming back with the show. I enjoy the show very much, and I look forward to seeing the brand new season of the haves and the have nots. So thank you so much, Tyler Perry. I'm back to do my review. I'm going to be here all season, and I'm also going to be doing a review of If Loving You Is Wrong, which I am going to film directly after I film this. So thank you all for coming back. I've gotten so many new subscribers, and I'm thankful for all of you for tuning in every week to see my review. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Now, the first two people we go to is Justin and Jeffery. Justin comes into the jail and he comes to get Jeffery out and brings him into the interrogation room. Justin tries to kiss him, but Jeffery pushes him away repeatedly. Justin doesn't care about the cameras in the room since he turned them off. Justin asks how Jeffery is doing and tells him that he's sorry that he has been arrested. Jeffery says that it is not his fault. He can't believe that Veronica did this to him. Jeffery asks about Justin's wife, but Justin, is uninterested and doesn't really want to talk about her and says that he hasn't been home yet and he'll talk to her when he gets home. Jeffery, wants him to talk about it, but he is just not interested. He is more interested in Jeffery. He says that she may be my wife, but you are my man. And my man is locked up right now. And that's his priority. Justin says, you think I did all of this not to have you? And he also says that what you need right now is me. And he also says that that I am all that you have right now. Justin asked Jeffery to let him in, but Jeffery isn't having it. He's still very angry with Justin over what happened at Wyatt's apartment. Justin wants to be there for him, but Jeffery, is not over it just yet. Justin promises Jeffery that everything is going to be fine. Jeffery is sorry for Veronica's actions toward him and his wife, but Justin says that he'll be able to handle it. He smiles and says that we got that bitch, talking about Veronica and the accident that they suffered. Jeffery questions him, asking him plainly, what did you do? Did you kill her? Justin says that he took care of it and that he doesn't want to talk about it, at the police station. Jeffery mentions the cameras, but Justin says that this is not the time or the place to discuss it. He also warns Jeffery not to talk to anyone in here because the DA pays off people to set up other suspects. Justin goes to, put the cuffs back on Jeffery, but it's just a come on. It's nothing but a come on. Justin wants, to make love to Jeffery, and Jeffery, tells him to stop and tells him that this is not the time or the place, but they eventually, have sex with each other. So I guess that Justin and Jeffery are back together. I mean, apparently they're sleeping, together again. So hey, I guess those two are back together. Now, the next group of people we go to is Katherine, Hannah, Benny, Mitch, and Broderick, the manager of the Artesian Hotel. Back at Katherine's house, Kate and Hannah sit down. Benny is worried about Hannah, but she doesn't want him to be worried. Hannah wants him, to just go on about your business, which he does. Benny leaves, and they Hanna and Katherine grieve over Quincy Jr.'s death. Katherine says to pray that the grief comes in waves. The same thing and the same advice that Hanna gave to Katherine when Amanda died. Hanna hopes that that advice will help her, and Kate assures her that it will. The subject, then turns to Hanna and Katherine's living arrangements. Kate wants Hanna to stay there in the condo that she gave her, but Hanna, makes up a laundry list of excuses. Katherine offers her a job. Katherine has her own place, her father's house, and she wants Hanna to be the estate manager. But Hanna, she makes up the excuses, saying that her families have been through too much. But eventually, Hanna agrees to stop by Katherine's to help out the new maid and the new, estate manager. Then Katherine gets a call from Broderick, the hotel manager of the Artesian Hotel. Apparently, Jim is at the hotel and he can't pay for his room. Katherine, cut off his credit cards, and, she's very pleased by that, and I am too. I'm glad that she's taking steps, to get rid of Jim and get the divorce because they never really should have been married in the first place, in my opinion. She says that she will be down there very, very soon. Mitch stops by and he speaks to Hanna and Katherine and offers his condolences. He and Benny go off into the kitchen. And after Kate gets off of the phone, Hanna notes the seriousness, about her getting the divorce and the softness in her voice when she's speaking to Broderick. Kate laughs about Jim not being able to pay his hotel bill and has no intention of paying it for him. Kate says that she has to go and she leaves. Now, in the kitchen, Benny wants to buy another tow truck and start up another business. He doesn't trust Katherine and doesn't want to stay in that house because of the hit and run. So he goes to Mitch, and the Malone family for a loan. Mitch warns Benny that it is not wise to go to the Malone family for money. They will charge interest and they will be violent with him until he pays. Benny feels that he has no choice, that he can't trust the criers, and that he can believe, he believes that he can hustle and pay back the money. Mitch is completely against this, but he says that he is willing to talk to his grandmother and his uncles for help. Mitch tells him that they will break his bones and possibly kill him if the money is not paid back, but Hanna and Candace won't be involved. Mitch asks him, "Are you sure you want to put Hanna through this, especially after Quincy died?" But Benny, agrees to go along with the plan, despite Mitch's warnings, saying that he wants to go ahead and do it because, he feels that he has no choice. Mitch agrees to call his uncle and his grandmother for help. Benny wants to stop at the hotel to talk to Candace, which Mitch agrees to. They leave the kitchen, they say their goodbyes to Hanna, and then they go off on their way. So Benny is making a bad decision. I believe that it is a mistake for him to go to the mob for money, but he's a man. He thinks he can handle it all on his own, and I hope that he's right. Now, before I go on to the next section, there was another poster that has a theory video. I'm going to put that video in the description line. And there's a theory, and the theory is that Candace will help Benny out of the situation that he's getting himself in with the Malone family. Yeah, I'm going to put the description in the description line. I think it's a very good theory video, and I want you to check out his channel as well. He's a very, very good poster, and he talks a lot about the haves and the have-nots, and I appreciate that. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now, the next three people we go to is Candace, Benny, and one of her tricks. At the Artesian Hotel, she is with some John, some trick. She's asked to see the money up front and tells him that $1,800 is not enough. She orders him to leave and then robs him. The trick eventually, after insulting Candace, he eventually agrees to leave. But he tells her that he will see her again. As the trick leaves, Benny comes in unannounced, wanting to know if she is okay. She wishes that he had called first, but Benny says that he likes the surprise. He knows that she is turning tricks and, is asking her, "Why are you doing this?" She responds saying that she's doing the only thing that she knows how to do, which I believe is true. Benny, does not believe that. He compliments her, tells her that she's intelligent and capable and can do something else with her life. But she, basically gets up off the couch and runs away, not wanting to hear it and not wanting to be judged. Benny says that he is her brother and that it is his business and he doesn't want her to prostitute herself. Then Benny brings up Quincy Jr.'s death. Candace says that he didn't die, but he was murdered, and that he has no right to speak of him, to love him, or to grieve for him since Q was not his son. Benny says that his death hit all of us very hard and also brings up Hanna, who is heavy and deep within her grief. Candace could care less about Hanna, but Benny disagrees, saying that I know that you care for her. He knows that she is angry at the world right now, but he balks at her turning tricks. Candace says that he knows nothing about this situation and just wants him to leave. She says that she has another John coming, but Benny refuses to leave. She says that she is not sleeping with these men, but she's robbing them. But to Benny, it's really not that much better. Then Benny says that Hanna has a nice house with 4 bedrooms, and since they are family, they should be together. Candace says that her only family got cremated. She blames Hanna for the death of Quincy, saying that she let them kill my son. Benny disagrees, but Candace believes it. Candace wants revenge upon all of them: Jim Cryer, Hanna, David Harrington, all of them. Benny says that you were the one who started this entire situation. He says that once you get past your anger, that the family will be there for you. She says that her only family got cremated and turns her back on Benny, on getting her law degree, going back to college and getting a legal job. Candace is just set in her way of doing things, and she just doesn't see that what she's doing is wrong. But, hopefully one day she will see it, in time. Now, the next group of people we go to is Jim, Broderick, the manager of the Artesian Hotel, Katherine, and a desk attendant. Jim is bellowing at the desk. Apparently, his cards have been declined, and Jim has no other form of payment. So he calls for the hotel manager, Broderick. He expects a room and says that the Artesian Hotel is owned by the Backhead Group, which has a majority stake in that hotel. And the Backhead Group is owned, 70% owned by the Cryer family. So, because of that, he expects a room. Katherine walks up grinning, and she says hello to Broderick, who is smiling back at her, a very handsome man. Jim is completely outraged that his cards have been declined, but Katherine, could care less about that. He expects her to reactivate his credit cards, But Katherine says that the lawyer says that it's best to keep all of the money separate until the divorce. He wants to know what should he do for money until that time. Kate answers, maybe you should go off and be with your whores. He thinks that this has gone too far, but she says this hasn't gone far enough, not until the divorce is final. Jim refuses to take this treatment from her, but Katherine, just wants the divorce. She wants him to sign, and she gives him a way out. She offers him $250,000 to sign the paper, but his pride and his arrogance won't let him, accept that offer. He also says that since they are married, they can't be forced to testify against each other. So it would be better if they were to stay married. But Katherine doesn't want that. She just wants the divorce. And she also wants Wyatt's address. Jim refuses to give the address until he gets a room. But Katherine announces, loud and in front of everyone, that Jim cannot pay his bills and that he should be put out of the hotel. Jim, you need to support yourself, Jim. I mean, he's been a judge for a long time. You mean to tell me he doesn't have any money put away? What's going on here? He should have something. He should have some money in his pocket, from being a lawyer and being a judge all these years. It's ridiculous that he has no money. That's absolutely ridiculous. And also, I laugh at him a little bit because not too long ago, he was teasing Candace about not being able to pay for her own hotel room. And apparently, he can't pay for his room either. So, for Jim, I have no sympathy for Jim. He brings it all upon himself. He started this entire situation, and he's finally getting, what he deserves. I have no sympathy for Jim at all. None whatsoever. Now, the next group of people we go to is Quita Maxwell, Oscar, and the police. While sitting at his computer watching surveillance, Quita is seen with one of Wyatt's credit cards trying to withdraw money. She gets caught by the police and she is arrested. Oscar is pleased by this and writes down some information, and he says out loud that the police officer may be of use to him. Oscar is trying to get Wyatt's money. He's looking for a way in. He's trying to do a job so he can get paid. He's on the job. So I don't doubt Oscar's skills. I mean, if he can get Candace and rip her off, I'm sure he can get Wyatt. No doubt about it. Now, the next two people we go to is Wyatt and Anna. Wyatt and Anna come back from the park. Wyatt is upset by the priest at the park that bumped into him. He tells Anna that his name was Father Kiner and that he was one of the priests who molested him at the camp. Wyatt thought that they were all dead by now, but because of that, he really wants to get high. It has triggered some bad memories, and he just wants to drown it all out with drugs or sex, whatever fix that he can get his hands on. Now, Anna is listening to this, and she starts crying because of this. And she confesses to him that her aunt was molested as well. He hugs her and she cries, and he asks her outright, "Do you want to use with me?" She refuses. She's trying to, keep a brave front up, and, she's trying to get him clean as best she can. But he kisses her and she rebuffs, his advances. But eventually, she breaks, her oath as a counselor, and she sleeps with him on the couch. So there, that relationship is pretty much over. We saw it in the preview for next week that she's not going to be there anymore, and Wyatt is pretty much alone. He's alone now. He doesn't have anyone to turn to. Jeffery is in jail, and Anna will be gone from him, so he's pretty much got to face his demons on his own. And I don't believe, that he'll be able to handle it on his own. I mean, anything can set Wyatt off. So we're just going to have to see what happens with Wyatt later on. Now, the next group of people we go to is David, Erica, and Jim. David has bought a house, seeing as Veronica burned the old one down. It's a very beautiful house, very palatial. It's a mansion, very beautiful. And he invites Erica to live there with him. Erica, who is conning him, she plays coy and she's playing the game and she's pretending that this isn't what she wants. But David, convinces her that that she can come and stay with him if she wants to. She says that all she has are the clothes on her back, and then David gives up the credit card. He asks for the name of her former lover, but Erica refuses to give it to him. She says that she doesn't want to bring him into her drama. He shows off the rest of the house when Jim walks in. Jim wants to borrow his credit card. Seeing as he can't leech off of Katherine anymore, he's leeching off of David. He says that Katherine kicked him out of the hotel. Jim also wants to call, also wants David to call for a reservation in his name at the Artesian Hotel so he can have somewhere to stay. Jim says that he was trying to give her some room to get her mind right, but he admits to being pissed off about this. Well, Jim, you're just going to have to stand on your own 2 feet now. I mean, you don't really care too much about Katherine when you're off sleeping with these prostitutes. I mean, the ink, the inkwell is dry, It's dry, so forget it. Jim wants to see the new house, but David, says another time. He has a lady friend over. Jim wants to meet her, but David refuses. Jim accepts his answer, but they do have a lot to talk about. Jim brings up Mama Rose, but Mama Rose isn't talking to either one of them. They're trying to contact her, but she's not returning the phone calls. I mean, it's obvious that Mama Rose blames Jim and David for the shooting, for letting Warwick out of jail, and she is right to blame them because they did let him out of prison. David says that we are going to have to use Hannah's son, Benny. I mean, here they are targeting Benny, and Benny has suffered enough because of them. Apparently, Benny and Mitch are friends, and they've been tight with each other, and they were partners at the tow yard. David wants to use Benny and Mitch to make a deal with Mama Rose. Jim tells David that Hanna is staying in one of the condos, which is not, pleasing to Jim at all, seeing as he was kicked out of the hotel. Jim again, asks to see, David's new girlfriend, but David, refuses him. Jim asks for the credit card, but David gives him money instead. And then Jim realizes that David gave the credit card to his new girlfriend. David agrees, to give him the credit card number. He gave him some money. Jim, calls him a rascal and he leaves. I mean, David is a little too free and trusting with his credit card. I mean, he's going to end up broke very soon. We all can see it coming. Now, the last 2 people, Veronica and Melissa. Veronica is still alive. Ugh. Why couldn't she have died in that crash? At the crash site, Melissa crawls out of the upturned car. Veronica is alive, but she's stuck inside. She screams for help, but Melissa just sits on the grass and watches. The car is smoking, and Veronica can smell gasoline. Melissa says, "Die, bitch, die, and you are the devil. Why are you so afraid of the flames?" Veronica calls for Melissa to help her, but Melissa says, "Yeah, keep calling my name and see if I come." Veronica is begging. She's begging Melissa for help. But Melissa just sits there and she laughs and she says, "Die, bitch, die." And that's where the episode ends. My MVP of the episode is Melissa, because I don't blame her one bit for not helping Veronica. She has abused that girl since day one. Since day one, insulted, harassed her, driven her to a dark place in her mind. I don't blame Melissa for not helping Veronica. So, because of that, she has become my MVP of this episode. So, show some love for Melissa, y'all. She was definitely my MVP. Come back next week for the next episode of the haves and the have nots. If you like my video, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will be back next week, hopefully sooner, with the next review of the next episode. Enjoy your life as I do, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much.